Okay, everybody, welcome back. We are at the second episode of the Eric and Lonnie and Eric Podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
We are your hosts. I am Lonnie Garrity.
I'm Eric Jefferson.
And today we will be talking
About Caddyshack II.
That's right. Last episode, actually, we got some pretty good feedback on the last episode. About 700 comments, so I was thinking before we actually start this episode talking about Caddyshack II, we actually go over some of the comments. One person asks to us, which one is Eric, which one is Lonnie? I genuinely can't tell who's supposed to be who. That's fair. I am Lonnie. I'm the one with Lonnie's voice. Eric's the one with Eric's voice.
And I'm Eric Jefferson.
That's right. And I think what they mean is in the picture, which one is Lonnie, which one is Eric, because you got two guys' faces, and it says Lonnie.
Let's stop
next
wasting
to Eric.
time. This is stupid.
Well, I'm the one with the glasses.
Okay.
All right.
Alright, so, should we just start with, should I ask you what you think about the movie, just generally? Not like a number, but is it good, is it bad, is it mediocre?
I think it's good. I think it's a good movie, and it gets more hate than it deserves. It's a fine movie. I think why people hate this movie is because it's Caddyshack II. So you're going to piss off the people who already didn't like Caddyshack. They'll be like, great, they made a sequel? Are you kidding me? But the people who did like Caddyshack will be like, this isn't Caddyshack. It's got almost none of the original people, and it's a different movie, and it's bad. But if you examine the movie as a movie independent of its predecessor, you'll find that it's actually a fine movie. And while watching it, I genuinely thought, if Caddyshack 1 didn't exist and they released Caddyshack 2 as its own independent movie, it would have just as big of a following and be just as enjoyed as the original Caddyshack. I think, personally, it gets more hate than it deserves. Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say it's in between mediocre and bad.
Oh, you fucking...
Yeah, I mean, at least you should be happy that I didn't say just plain bad. So.
I guess... Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Just knocked the fucking table.
I'm sorry.
So, big part of this movie, I think, is the gopher, sort of the...
That's one of the weaker elements in my
amount
opinion.
of screen time sort of went up.
Went up? It went down.
Really?
What the fuck? The Joker's barely in this movie. He's in the beginning and the end.
The Joker?
The Joker. the gopher.
Okay, well, we can at least agree that he has more lines.
He has lines.
Yeah.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, I can't think of any things he says, but
At the beginning, as he's burrowing around the greenery, he's eating stuff, and then you hear him say, "Damn it! I just ate somebody's tea."
Tea?
Like a golf tee.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the drink. All right, yeah. I thought when I originally saw the gopher in this movie, you know that one scene where he takes the root beer and brings it underground.
Oh, root beer.
What was that? What's that one what was that? Hires root beer.
Hires?
Yeah, Hires. It said
That's
that on the
brand?
Yeah, it was clearly product placement.
Oh.
I thought there was going to be a lot more of that because it was pretty prominent in the beginning of the movie, but I didn't see much after that. So that was kind of weird.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess my theory is that they knew people weren't going to like the movie, so they just put it all in the beginning because eventually they would just stop watching.
Walk out.
So, yeah.
So, in the last movie, the antagonist, as we were discussing last time, is Judge Smales, you could say.
Right.
In this one, they make the antagonists, whose names are Miffy and Todd. That's the woman and the man.
Yeah.
They make them much more detestable than Judge Smales. Eric, I remember last time we talked, you said that there were parts where you found that you could sympathize with Judge Smales.
Right.
Here, it's really hard to do that, and they're much more similar to Regina George, as a comparison to...
Regina George?
Regina George is the...
Seinfeld?
No, she's the antagonist... What?
I don't know, George.
Oh, no. She's the antagonist from Mean Girls. So these rich characters are much more snobbish, and it's easier to hate them than it is Judge Smales. Obviously, they have a less animated performance as well, but that's just up to, actor's choice.
I think this movie has a lot of Flanderization in it, like with the rich characters.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, in the first movie, it kind of felt like there was a lot of overlap between people that liked Rodney and people that liked Ted. You know, because I'm pretty sure Dr. Beeper was one of the guys that was dancing when Rodney was playing the music. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But this time it's just so more black and white, you know?
Yeah. And you see that as a bad thing?
Yeah.
I see that as a not bad thing. I'll get more into that, but to basically surmise, this movie isn't like Caddyshack 1, I can't believe I have to call it Caddyshack 1, in the way that you have characters with, I don't want to say depth because that's not what I mean, but characters who personalities are on a spectrum and they can fluctuate between likability and not. They have character, basically.
Right.
These characters' character is the fact that they're the character. They are the good guy, they are the bad guy. Now, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie, in my opinion, but it makes it a more traditional movie. Caddyshack, as we recall, was not made traditionally. There was a lot of improv. It was Harold Ramis's first time directing. Characters or actors could do whatever they felt their character would do, and it all worked in the end. This movie, very tight script, tight in the sense that it feels like there wasn't a lot of range for the actors to perform. More traditional. Interrupt me.
I don't know. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff here that's just sort of redundant. Like the guy, like when he's running to get the root beer, he runs in front of people, like swinging their clubs.
I remember that.
I mean, I guess it's sort of funny, but it's completely... He doesn't need to do that.
Well, it also feels kind of hack, if you think about it.
Sorry?
Cheap in terms of humor.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
About the opening credit sequence, I said the opening credit sequence mimics the opening credit sequence of the first, with the caddy running towards the clubhouse as a Kenny Loggins song plays. This time it's Nobody's Fool instead of I'm Alright. And the fact that they do this, I think, speaks to the many ways that this movie both tries to distance itself from the original and how it tries to be as similar to it as possible. What do you think?
I don't really think it's a matter of them trying to distance themselves, you know? It's just like that, like, they were like, okay, well, we want to use this song, but if we did, it would just be like an exact copy of the original one. And you know what? Them distancing themselves, it's just... You saying that it's completely ridiculous because this movie is a carbon copy of the first one.
Oh, you're lying.
Exact
you are
same.
lying.
Every character is just a clone from the old one.
Oh, you're a fucking liar.
It's like Caddyshack from an alternate dimension.
You know, I find that this movie is much more similar to a Marx Brothers movie than Caddyshack 1.
Yeah.
I'll get more into that.
Maybe it should be called Marx Brothers 2.
I want to talk about a bit of the background of the movie. We're all over the place. I'm on sugar. This movie was directed by... What?
I'm listening.
Eric was making kissy face at me. This movie was...
Fuck you!
This movie was directed by Alan Arkish. You know who that is?
No.
Alright, well, his notable works include Rock and Roll High School, which is a movie that I personally love, Elvis Meets Nixon, which was hilarious, and Heart Beeps. Have you seen Heart Beeps?
I haven't seen any of those movies.
Okay, well, in Heart Beeps, there's a character who's clearly supposed to be played by Rodney Dangerfield, but I guess they couldn't get him. So it's a guy doing what seems like a Rodney Dangerfield impression. In Caddyshack 2, you might think the same could be said about Jackie Mason. However, Jackie Mason is the guy who plays Jackie Hartunian.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking.
No. You might think the same could be said about him. However, Jackie Mason is playing Jackie Mason, whose comedic persona is also, one of a cigar-puffing, one-liner delivering agent of chaos. This trope in American comedy is as old as film itself, with the most famous example being Groucho Marx, though I'm sure it goes back way further than that as a trope. Nowadays, you can find remnants of this in actors or comedians who have this persona of being a, cigar-puffing, one-liner delivering agent of chaos, like Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, so what you're saying is he's a comedian. He's not just like an actor?
Who is?
Jackie Mason?
Yeah, he is a comedian.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. The opening credits say that the script was written by Harold Ramis, who, co-wrote the original, and someone else named Peter Toro...
Hey, you're goddamn right it was written by Harold Ramis. It's the exact same script.
It was also co-written by Peter Torokvi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Who was a writer on SCTV, Ramis' alma mater. He also co-wrote Back to School, another Ramis Dangerfield project. So that's interesting. We got some known comedy writers doing this movie that you say is bad.
Another thing about this movie is that, so the Flanderization, like I was saying,
Yeah.
rich people just being ridiculously, stupidly evil.
They are.
And there's so many times where the characters that are supposed to be, the good guys, they're talking about how, like the one time when Jack Cartoonian, Rip Off Rodney, as I like to call him, he talks about how, his speech about privilege. The most important problem in the world today is privilege. That is the most important problem. And there's so many other examples too, like, probably shouldn't...
Just a bit of a rebuttal. One of the themes of this movie is privilege. So it would make sense that a character thrust into this situation where privilege was all around him would say that.
Yeah, but a theme of the previous movie was also privilege, and it was done a lot better.
I don't think it was as prominent of a theme as it was in this one.
Well, definitely.
What is the most notable example in the last movie of privilege? Because Al Sherbik had almost, if not just as much privilege as Judge Smales. So, if anything, it's just two people with money feuding against each other. And who really has more privilege? Because if you ask me, what I think is a more prominent theme in the last movie than privilege is friendship. And I mean that in the way that it's better to be a good person to other people than it is to have money and be all by yourself. Because Rodney, he's rich like Judge Smales, but he has people who likes.
Does it have to be friendship?
Well, isn't kindness...
Friendship.
Isn't
you just knocked the phone again.
Shut up. Whatever, moving on. We both don't like the fact that the gopher talks, but I said say what you will about the overall character of the gopher in this one. The puppetry is phenomenal. In the first one, I don't think we ever saw the gopher from the waist down, but in this one, we get full shots where we can see it move its limbs independently, almost like there's someone in it.
Yeah, I didn't really notice that.
Well, in the scene where he's drinking the root beer, he takes it, and then you see his little burrow. You see his whole body, and he's moving.
I mean, he was laying up against a wall, so that was probably where the hand was.
Probably, yeah.
They definitely did the gopher better, but, like, why do they need the gopher in the first place?
It's one of those things where it's just to draw people in. If it weren't for the gopher and Ty Webb and the club being called Bushwood, this movie could be released under a different title. But they need to pull in the people who like the previous movie. Even though they know that they're not going to be happy with it.
So that one scene where Jack goes to the club for the first time.
Yeah.
He reaches into his car, pulls out his hat.
Yeah. Was
that a reference? Because that hat is the worst looking hat that I ever saw.
But it looks good on him, though.
I don't think it does.
Looks good on him, though.
I don't think it does.
Dude, who gives a fuck? I don't think it was supposed to be a reference because I don't think it was the exact same hat.
No, obviously.
Okay, so what do you mean by reference?
Well, it was pretty similar, and also it was the worst looking hat I ever saw.
Alright.
So.
What did you think of the gag that was also in that scene where the, I don't know what his job is, the employee of the club says, "Oh, could I get that for you?" But then Jackie opens the door himself and knocks down the...
It was okay. It was fine. I thought it was...
I thought it was a little contrived.
What does that mean?
I thought it was a little bad.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, well, look, this movie's got strong suits and is a lot more organized than the original.
Okay. I just want to keep going chronologically, but I fucking can't because...
Well, you can take the lead.
I'm sorry for interrupting. When you're... No, I'm horrible. I'm horrible at having the lead, like, in any situation.
Okay.
So, you should just... No, but the problem is, when you have, like, a traumatic situation, if you try to recite your memory, it's really hard to do it in chronological order.
Yeah. Because
you're so passionate about it. I'm explaining this horribly.
No, I get it.
But, and that's sort of what this is.
That's good.
I'm really trying to do this chronologically, but I just fucking can't. So, okay, the next one that I have.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so the next thing I have in my notes. What?
Nothing.
Okay, so obviously we have the introduction of Ty Webb.
Yes.
I liked when he sat on that sleeping old guy.
Yeah, but I want to bring up something that happens before that.
Yeah.
When we see Ty Webb, it's because Jackie... Is his name Jack or Jackie, the character?
Pretty sure it's Jack.
Okay, Jack.
I don't think I've ever heard them say Jackie in the movie.
Interesting. So Jack goes into the Bushwood Country Club and he's like, I'm looking for Ty Webb. And then... Yeah, it does sound like Rodney when I do an impression. He's like, I'm looking for Ty Webb, and then someone shows him over to Ty Webb. There we see Ty Webb. He's significantly older. Yeah, he's playing pool. And he does a few references to the old movie. No.
And that was what I was going to say in the previous podcast about no. Because in the original one, they don't have any background music. But this one, they try to make it a lot more, like, mystical, you know? And I hate that.
You hate that?
Yeah, because, like, make your own goddamn movie, you know? They have to, like, reference something. And they make it, like, okay, you know, I'm just going to keep talking. They make it, like, this whole thing at the end where, like, that's, like, the big moment, you know, where he's, where
Yeah.
Where Rodney's like, nah, or like
Jack.
his balls going in the fucking hole.
Yeah. No.
And like the fucking music with like was it like a harp? I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, that was weird and felt pandering to me.
Yeah.
Fan of the original.
Definitely.
I just think it would have been better if it had if it had no connection to the original.
Yeah.
My mouth is on fire. I've been eating a burrito.
My fucking retainers are just holding me back. I keep fucking tripping over myself just like I did just now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Asshole. So, yeah, my Randy Quaid, you know,
We're not there yet. I have one thing to say.
Okay.
So, Miffy wants Kate's father. Kate's the female main character, Jack's daughter. Miffy wants... First of all, what the fuck kind of a name is Miffy?
Muffy. Yeah.
But we called it that for a different reason. Miffy wants Kate's father to join Bushwood, but Kate's embarrassed by her father. Jackie Hartoonian is her father, played by Jackie Mason, as aforementioned. You want to know something?
Yes. I want to know something.
Jackie Mason plays a character in the movie The Jerk, 1979, whose name is Harry Hartoonian.
Really?
Yes. Do you think they're twins?
Yes.
Okay. No.
God damn.
Okay. Basically...
Russia.
Actually, I think this movie is very different from Caddyshack in the sense that it has a plot. Like I said before, Miffy wants Kate to convince her father to become a member of Bushwood. The Historical Society wants to stop Jack's company from building on their heritage site. And Jack wants to keep building on the heritage site. And then Jack has... burrito. What? Jack has to join the country club. And then stuff happens, I don't know.
Okay. Is that the point you wanted to make?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because now we get to Randy Quaid.
Yes.
And he was a surprise. You know, he was in the opening credits, but I guess I wasn't reading them. I was actually pretty surprised when I saw him, and you know what? I'm going to say it. He is the best performance in the film.
I can agree with that.
And especially in his opening scene.
I have stuff on that, yeah.
Where he was threatening the other lawyers.
Yeah.
I don't deal with motions. What I do is I find your address. Yeah. And then I'm gonna eat your dog.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Randy Quaid acts like that now in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, Peter Blunt, Jackie's lawyer, played by Andy Quaid, in a hilarious performance that seems like it was taken right out of the Chris Farley playbook in terms of bombastic, over-the-topness.
Definitely.
You know, I actually had a dream about Chris Farley last night.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he doing to you?
No, he wasn't doing anything to me. In the dream, he was still alive, and he was only doing like dramatic stuff, and he would block people on Twitter who mentioned any of his old comedies. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a dream. Go ahead.
So this is an actual quote from the movie. Okay,
Yeah.
this is an actual quote.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell we're gonna let you guys come barging into Bushwood Estates and throw up a lot of cheap housing for a bunch of blue-collar trash.
Okay, I see what you mean about Flanderization.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, Judge Smales was, he wasn't a very good guy, but he
would not use that kind of language.
I mean, he would probably agree with them.
Yeah.
But, like...
He wouldn't be as blunt.
Yeah, like way to win the audience over. Smales. Go ahead. Like... And, like, it's so obvious they want Rodney to be, like, a good guy that the audience roots for.
Yeah.
In this one.
Wait,
like,
in this one?
Yeah, like, he's...
Rodney?
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, you please say the characters' names.
Like, he's not just a construction worker. He's a construction worker that's building low-cost housing.
Yeah.
And you know what?
There's no money in it, but I get to sleep at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I actually liked how Rodney wasn't that unlikable in the first one, but he was kind of unlikable. Like, he did some things that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like
destroy Smales' boat.
Like that. And he also, I don't know.
Didn't he violently, like take...
You must have been something before electricity.
Oh, yeah, he was mean.
Yeah, he was definitely mean, yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. So last episode I said that Wang was only in 2 scenes. He was actually in 3. This is something... Like, I watched the movie again. No one else seems to remember this. In Caddyshack 1, do you remember the scene when Rodney Dangerfield took a big golf club and started violently hitting Wang with it over the head, murdering him?
I don't remember that.
Well, that didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why I don't remember. This episode sucks.
Yeah, but Rodney actually being unlikable in the first one makes me like him more because, not that he has layers, because it's a pretty shallow movie, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But compared to this one, he's a fucking onion. Okay, I don't know.
No, yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, no, he's extremely subtle. Okay, the next scene I got is, it's not really a whole scene I just want to talk about, but, it's sort of a problem with a lot of crappy movies where they have, like, stock sound effects where it's just, like, farting. And
The horse, right?
They just put that in.
Yeah.
And they think it's funny.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, can't you, like, record some actual farts instead of just using stock sound effects?
The episode of The Sopranos, this is off topic, but you just reminded me. There's an episode of The Sopranos, it's in season 2, I think it's the season 2 finale, where Tony Soprano eats the bad shellfish, and he gets diarrhea, and he's like throwing up and all that. It's supposed to be like, it's not supposed to be like a serious scene, because it is a man letting go of his body fluids, but they do use like the classic fart stock sound. So like, call the doctor! Like, and it's just like, it takes you out of it, and I did you need to do that? Yeah, I know what you're saying, like, can't you record some farts?
Or just, like, not have them. It would have been just as effective, if not more, without them. Just without anything. Just hell, black screen, silence, would have been just as effective. So, yeah, that was stupid.
You know what? I think they recorded their own fart sound for when Rodney farted in Caddyshack 1.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody step on a duck!
It was just, it was so loud that the mic picked it up. People were actually looking over their shoulders. He looks at the old man behind him and he said, "You must have been something before electricity."
That old man.
And then
Thomas Edison.
And then of course they had to repeat the Trick Club section of the movie because.
With the lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the 12 gauge.
Yeah.
They had to repeat that because it's just a clone of the movie.
It's not a clone.
It is a fucking clone.
There are parts that are reminiscent.
Reminiscent.
The whole movie is not a clone.
Okay. What else do I have here? Yeah, Jack's got no negative qualities. Oh, and then what I said earlier about when I say earlier, I mean last week.
Yeah.
I said that Lacey was Smales' daughter. Well, in this one, that's actually true because Lacey is Smales'
There's
daughter
no
in
Lace.
this one.
Wait, what?
You know, the guy who speaks like.
Jack?
No.
Smales.
Yeah,
or
Smales.
Caddyshack II.
Yeah, Smales and Caddyshack
I
II.
forget his fucking name.
His daughter in this is
Yeah, Missy.
is Lacey.
I see.
Yeah.
Is there a sex scene in Caddyshack II?
No. And I can actually praise Caddyshack 2 for that.
Okay.
Thank you for not having a sex scene.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the movie's rated PG.
Oh God.
So
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer PG-13 personally, but
Why?
definitely not X. If it was an X-rated movie, then or NC-17.
You know, we were talking about A Few Talented Stupid Gesture last time, remember? And in that movie, Will Forte playing Doug Kenny, in response to the studio executive telling him to put the gopher in the movie, says, "This is not a fucking kids movie." Right? You agree the Caddyshack 1 with the sex scene and the weed and the drinking, that's not a kids movie,
Definitely.
right? A lot of 80s kids watched this in the 80s.
What?
Watched this? Fuck you. Watched this in the movies in the 80s as kids.
Yeah.
It's not a kids movie.
I mean,
What the Gopher and Carl seems like that's for kids, right?
kind of.
Who the fuck is taking their kid to see a movie with 9 sex scenes in it?
I don't know. It was the 80s.
It was the 80s. Everyone was on drugs. Kids were watching.
Kids were on drugs.
Kids were on drugs. Yeah, I don't know, but like, so you have an audience that grew up in the 80s who watched this movie as kids. Then you make the movie for kids, Caddyshack 2.
Yeah.
That's backwards.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just speaks to the quality of Hollywood.
Quality of Hollywood. That's an oxymoron right there.
Oh snap! At a freaking drum fill in
Rim
post.
shot.
What did I say? Drum fill?
That's close.
Rim shot.
Yeah. One time I went
I'd
to...
like to rim shot you.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
I was in 8th grade and my class went to an orchestra or something.
Yeah.
And there was a drummer there and I leaned over to Isabella, a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I said, "Do you think if I..." Because the whole time I was just saying stupid jokes to her, trying to piss her off.
Yeah.
And then I said, "I bet if I paid that guy up there $10, he'd give me a rim shot." But she looked at me in horror because I had accidentally said a rim job.
For $10.
$10, I bet that guy on stage will give me, an 8th grader, a rim job.
Okay, so you can cut me off, but the next scene I'm on is the auction scene. So, do you have anything before that?
I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. My notes end at Randy Quaid's first scene.
So, on today's episode of people being stupidly evil, the auction scene starts with, "Okay, everyone, it's time for the slave auction." Like, what the fuck? And then, and then of course, you know, like with Rodney being a good guy this time, they have to give him
Stop saying Rodney.
They have to give him a love interest.
What'd you think of that?
I thought it was bad.
I kind of wanted to see it happen.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so lightheaded.
You would have liked him to what? Step on his throat?
Dude,
high
I'm so
heels?
fucking lightheaded.
Okay,
right
get
now.
water.
I can't even fucking think.
Okay, we're gonna pause the. We're gonna pod the.
Okay, we're back. We're in a different room now.
Yeah. Obviously they can tell that.
No, they can't. No, they can't. By the way.
Yeah.
You said your notes ended at the Randy Quaid scene.
Yeah.
So, You didn't have anything to say about the slave auction scene then.
I had nothing to say.
You had absolutely nothing to say.
My
about
notes
that.
ended there because that's where I stopped watching.
What? You didn't see the whole movie?
I saw the whole movie like a year ago.
You.
Or like maybe 6 months ago.
I watched the whole movie twice. I watched it a week ago, and I skipped through it this morning. I skipped through it, okay, but that counts.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So, I watched the whole movie for you, and you don't do it for me. So anyway, let's see. Next scene, slave auction. Like I said, there was a slave auction. If you're just joining us now, we're just talking about the slave auction scene. Caddyshack II. So, let's see here. All right. So the entire crowd. Let me set the scene here. The entire crowd is sort of bidding on Smales' wife, and you know.
They're not.
Okay, they're bidding to do chores for like a.
Smales' wife.
What's his name? I don't. Who gives a shit?
think-
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name though.
Can we move on?
Fine.
please?
Fine.
Okay, so they're bidding on his wife, right? And this is right after Smales just said that Jack isn't welcome in the club anymore. Just tells him to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bidding money, and then Jack starts bidding, and it goes. He starts, like a bidding war with Smales and Jack, and it gets up to $1,000, and he doesn't continue. This guy is supposedly, he's a rich character. They all are, and they're not willing to go more than $1,000. Just 1,000. Is inflation really that bad?
Probably. The woman said that I said Judge Smales that Jack is worth $50 million, but
Yeah.
then he says, "No, I'm worth way more than that." Yeah, maybe they're just cheapskates. I don't know.
No, but they're cheapskates. I can accept that. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're so passionate about not wanting him to win, because even the guy that's sort of reffing the bid, he's like the referee or something. He's like, anyone else, please someone say something. And they're obviously really uncomfortable. And isn't comfort at least worth $1,000? What would you pay for your comfort?
I don't know, Eric.
Okay, let me change the
Yeah.
subject, but if you had that kind of money, if you were as rich as them, would you pay $1,000 for your comfort?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So and $1,000, if we're being realistic here, it was probably at most 10,000, but I think that's still kind of ridiculous.
You're talking about inflation, right?
Yeah.
No, like 5.
Okay, well, still, I was saying is at most 10,000.
Okay, I see.
I'm
They're worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They can spare a dime.
Exactly. So, and also I love the part where I don't remember what the context was, and I didn't even write the context in my notes, but Randy Quaid's character says that there's a conspiracy, and I don't remember what it was about, but yeah.
Yeah, we got that going for us.
Oh, and then there's the scene where all the rich people are at the construction site. I don't really have anything to say about that. Can I just keep chugging along? Because,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. I wanted to save it for the end because I thought maybe that would be a good place, but I'm just going to say it now just so I don't forget. The guy playing Smales in this movie, and I'm going to bring this up.
Okay.
The guy playing Smales in this movie is an actor who was in Airplane. He was in Airplane, and now he's in Caddyshack II. Isn't that just an extreme major insult to Doug Kenny? Because I don't actually know.
Oh shit, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a futile or how accurate a futile and stupid gesture is, but he clearly did not like Airplane, and now one of the main guys from Airplane is in Caddyshack II.
Oh yeah, that must be a big.
Yeah, that had to hurt.
Yeah, I bet it did hurt him. Yeah, I bet it hurt him.
Yeah,
really
he
bad.
probably died.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh, God.
Also, Another thing I really liked about fucking Ted Knight's performance was that he was egotistical, but sort of nervous about it. You know, like when he was about to hit the ball, and the crowd formed around him, he was like,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that adds like another layer to his performance.
Oh yeah.
But with this guy, this new Smales, the airplane Smales,
Yeah.
he's just so sure in his abilities, and he's a lot less skilled, I think. I don't know. I mean, he pays someone to do his bidding for him. Meanwhile, Smales, the real Smales, he goes out there and he gets it done himself.
Yeah.
So, that's something. So now we get to the low point of the film. So, you said last time that the low in the last movie was too low.
Yeah.
But this time, it's like 100 times lower. Because Miffy, or like, what's her name?
The blonde.
No, the brunette.
Kate.
Kate,
Yeah.
sure.
Kate Hartunian.
Hartunian, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hartunian kid, you know, she like hates his dad for turning
Her dad. Whose dad?
Oh, her dad, I guess I said his dad.
Yeah.
She hates her dad for turning Bushwood into a theme park.
Yeah.
We should have talked about that. I should have just dropped that onto the
Yeah,
audience.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah, he turns
Bushwood.
he buys
Buys Bushwood. Come on. Come on. Fuck off. Tell the story.
Okay, so he buys. For some reason, Ty has like 51% shares in Bushwood, and he just miraculously convinces Ty to to sell him the shares. And because of that, he buys the thing.
Yeah.
And that sort of ruins his daughter's relationship with her rich friends.
Yeah.
And she really hates that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's mad at him.
Yeah.
And then you have this scene about like the love interest, sort of like Elizabeth.
Yeah.
How do you know their names after a year of not watching?
Because I saw up to Randy Quaid's scene on the train over here.
So she sort of scolds him and say like kids will be kids, pretty much. And it's family drama.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so stupid. It's completely unnecessary, and it takes away from the comedy, and it doesn't belong in the film. And you know what? It isn't even resolved immediately like it was last time. You might see that as a negative, but I see it as a positive. So, what do you think of this family drama thing in Caddyshack II?
It's definitely more akin to a traditional movie,
Mm-hmm.
which I can see, if you're a fan of the first one, why you'd get turned off by it. I think it's one of the elements of the movie that makes it a fine movie, not a bad movie. It feels more traditional.
It's kind of
it feels more
Hallmark-esque.
cliche. Is that what you mean? Or is that what I mean? By
What?
cliche, Hallmark-esque?
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a Hallmark Christmas movie, except...
Okay, I don't think Caddyshack 2 feels like a Hallmark Christmas
Okay,
movie.
what I was saying is that part of the film.
Maybe. But that's just an element of a Hallmark Christmas movie and many other movies.
Okay.
And I don't think that necessarily means it's bad.
Your mom.
My mom.
Yeah.
Your response is my mom.
Dude, I'm so fucking lightheaded right now.
I thought you got water and you're eating the cookie.
Yo, I hate you.
Okay.
Anyway.
You can eat my underwear.
Okay, so after this, we get to the introduction of Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, my thing I remember, Dan Aykroyd is one of the reasons I saw the movie for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I wonder what Dan Aykroyd's interpretation of the Bill Murray-esque character is. He's not in the movie for until the last hour or something.
Right.
More than that, like way towards the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, and he's like featured prominently on the poster.
You just said he was the Bill Murray character, and this isn't a carbon copy of Caddyshack 1.
Okay, fuck you.
Yeah, he's the Bill Murray character.
Bill Murray-esque character.
Yeah.
Would you suck the poison?
He's like... Okay, so okay, this is his thought process. He's like, Bill Murray had a funny voice in the last one. I should do a funny voice too. But then he just does an annoying voice, and he doesn't even have a silly face.
A silly face?
You know what? If he had a silly face, that probably would have saved his role.
What's a silly face?
Where he goes like...
Yeah, but then you just become Bill Murray.
I know, but, that's just an example.
Would you suck the poison out
Out of my butt.
Would you suck my butt?
Out of the poison. Okay, so, they have to raise the stakes for the sequel here. So instead of trying to make Jack, just not be allowed in the club, which, I guess he already tried doing that earlier in the film. Instead of doing that, he wants to get Jack murdered, assassinated. That's another example of how stupidly evil these rich characters are. It's so fucking stupid. Is this a comedy? Is this a drama?
It's a comedy.
You have the family thing, Yeah. So obviously they're trying to be more traditional.
Fucking Caddyshack a drama? You have teen pregnancy. The one with "Will you suck the poison out of my butt?" and the gopher drinking root beer. You think that's a drama?
What I think is that they didn't really know what to decide.
That's a fair point. This movie's, for being as organized as it is compared to the first, this movie does somewhat go in strange directions.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the first movie, you were saying that a lot of the women look like men.
Yes.
What do you think of the women in this movie?
They look more like women. We're approaching the 2000s. Women are starting to look like women.
I know we didn't see any of them, naked.
Yeah.
Having sex.
but
yeah, that would have been if we had a Jack Cartoonian sex scene, that would have made the film.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
That would have destroyed the film.
You would have been like this. I was not enjoying this movie until I saw Jack Cartoonian shirtless and pants.
Getting pegged.
Getting pegged by Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. So he wants to kill Jack. He wants to kill. Do you actually think a person if he was a real person, subtract everything before the Dan Aykroyd scenes? Do you think you would actually go to killing him? Because I think that's kind of a jump.
It is a bit of a jump. You're right.
Yeah, and then they make Smales and Jack's cars exactly the same just so they can do this one gag. What do you mean? The fuck is Smales?
You keep saying Smales, and neither of us know what the guy's
What
name
should I
is.
call him then? Airplane? I'll call him Airplane.
Call him Airplane.
Okay, good.
Dude, this episode sucks. Maybe we shouldn't release it.
So we get to the car bomb scene. Shut the fuck. We get to the slave auction scene.
Yeah.
The car bomb.
Slave auction, car bomb,
Yeah.
hiring the assassin.
Yeah, so they make airplanes and Jack's cars exactly the same, just for this one gag, so they can do the obvious thing, the completely obvious thing. Because, the movie's not done yet. You can tell by the runtime, by the dumbass runtime. This 90-minute movie feels like 5 hours. Feels like an entire day. Feels like a week. And
It was like 20 years later.
yeah. And they do the obvious thing. And the assassinator, he's not going for a gopher this time, he's going for Jack. And he blows up Airplane's car instead of Jack's, obviously, because they make them look exactly the same just for this one stupid gag. To be fair, the explosion didn't look cheap, but it also didn't look that expensive either. So you were talking about the beginning of the third act scene, I guess you could call it, in the first movie, in the scene with the bar, where
Yes.
the bet starts.
Yeah.
In this movie, there's a scene in a bar where the bet starts,
Yeah.
and this time Jack sucks at golf, so he needs to be taught by Ty Webb. So they have the sort of, not a montage, but I guess a couple scenes, maybe one, of Ty just sort of training Jack, beginning with the no thing again. Of course, you have the mystical music because I hate myself. And we talk a lot about movies being unrealistic. Caddyshack was pretty unrealistic, but the scene The scene, like where he has to be the ball, right? Jack, he hits the ball, it goes up, and then it goes backwards. It goes backwards, and Ty's sort of standing in front of him, and he's like, just hit it like whenever you're ready. And it goes back. That's just way too unrealistic. Way too realistic for me. Way too unrealistic. The guy, what do you think of the ball going backwards in that scene?
Well, the way you describe it, yes, it is unrealistic.
No, I mean obviously, but is it too unrealistic?
For this movie, I'm going to say yes. If it were in Caddyshack 1, that'd be par.
I disagree.
Of course. Really?
Because
they blew up a golf course. Really?
I mean, no, but like the thing is, you could actually see a golf course blowing up in real life. Like that is a thing that could possibly happen.
Oh, physically, yes.
But a ball being hit and then turning, going backwards, cannot happen in real life. It's not a boomerang, okay? It's a ball. So, fuck you.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna fast forward to the scene where they actually have the golf sort of match. And this time it's in Coney Island, except it's Bushwood, but they changed it to like a theme park.
Yeah.
And you know what? I thought it was pretty disappointing because the guy at the beginning, the Noonan-esque character, the sort of his character gets a lot bigger towards the end.
Bigger? Oh, character.
Yeah, he gets a lot more screen time towards the end. For what I can tell as no reason. Because, okay, let's see. You see, what I can see is only... the only reason I see...
Stop.
The only
Stop talking. Just take a second to calm down. Okay, go.
The only reason that I see him becoming a bigger character towards the end is no reason. Because look, in the beginning of the film, fucking Jack's daughter, we can tell she's good at golf. She hits that one thing.
Yeah, right.
Goes all the way. No, not right in the hole.
You know what I mean?
Right on the green.
Yeah.
So what I think, Jack, he does the final golf thing with Smales, and I guess Smales also has a partner. I forget who it was, but Jack he partners with Danny Noonan's character. But I think what he should have done is he should have played with his daughter. That would have made a lot more sense because he's trying to like mend the fence, or I guess with his daughter, and instead you just used this one guy that had like literally zero before this one scene, pretty much zero. So they made his daughter a good golfer for pretty much no reason, for just that one gag, I guess, of her being really good but not rich.
Yeah.
And then what do you think? Should they have used her
Absolutely.
in the final scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a callback to the first scene.
Did you think about them using her before I brought it up?
I don't think I did. No.
All right, so in the beginning of the final golf scene, we see the same problem of Jack hitting the ball and then going a completely different direction because this movie is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Airplane sort of makes fun of him for that. This is another actual quote from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The actual quote section. Here we go. "The cream always rises to the top, doesn't it, old boy?" Like, what the hell? I'm speechless. No real human being would say it. So we get to I forgot to mention this, but we finally get to the part where Carl, he has a plan.
Who the fuck is Carl?
Spangler? What's his name?
In one?
No, the second one.
Captain Tom Everett.
Okay, so Dan Aykroyd,
Fuck you.
he has a plan.
Yeah.
He has this watermelon
Yeah.
on a rope.
Yeah.
He shoots it and it explodes.
Yeah.
No, okay, he shoots a crossbow with a golf ball in it, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's the plan for the final scene. And Smales, he says that the signal he'll give Dan is that he'll tip his hat.
Yeah.
So and that's when Dan would know that Smales is losing the game, and he needs to kill him.
Yeah.
And not Smells. He needs to kill
Yeah.
Jack. So so he's moving his hat around a lot because he starts losing because what Jack does is he just turns like 90 degrees slightly and then for some reason the ball just goes in the exact right direction because he's like pointing like the opposite direction of the hole and the ball just like goes. Is this like another trick club or something? So he's not tipping his hat, he's just freaking throwing it around at this point. And Dan, he's sort of busy because he's dealing with the gopher. The gopher's like messing with his bag and something.
Yeah.
And we get to see Dan's ass.
Yeah.
Because he's bending over.
Yeah.
We get to see some fine plumber crack. So why?
I'm sorry.
He just threw a baby at me.
No, it was a chocolate chip. Just threw a baby. All right, go on.
Okay. Airplane's friends are talking to him, and they're like, Airplane, you're about to lose the game. If you lose the game, the stakes are that either Jack loses all of his shares in Bushwood, and he can't construct his low cost housing, or Airplane just like fucking isn't allowed to go on the club anymore. I don't remember what his stake was, but his friends are like you're freaking losing. You need to do something. Like is he gonna lose? And are you gonna lose? And then the guy says something like this. He says he can't win if he doesn't finish. He's being so fucking cryptic, and he's throwing his hat around.
Yeah.
He's suspicious in hell. He's being suspicious. I hate myself. He's being suspicious as hell.
He is.
And if you think about it, if Dan actually got the message, and he actually killed Jack, and his head blew up,
Yeah.
who would the police first question? Who would be the first suspect?
Airplane.
It would be Airplane,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know what? That guy, from what we've seen from this movie, you're goddamn right he would crack in an interrogation under that kind of pressure. Damn right. And he would go to jail. So this is actually a good ending for him. So yeah. The gopher, he takes the poison ball, the explosion ball, and he gives it, he switches it with Airplane. And when Airplane hits it, there's a Looney Tunes explosion, and his entire family is standing around him, and they're all also in the Looney Tunes explosion. Jack shot his final shot at the hole. He goes no, and there's the music, and it's slow motion, and it's wonderful, and it's my favorite part of the movie.
Really?
No.
Okay.
And then it ends with, we win, you lose. It ends with Jack saying, we win, you lose. And, okay, which is better?
Yeah.
We win, you lose, or we're all gonna get laid.
We're all gonna get laid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they couldn't say that. It was rated PG.
okay, and then, of course, the ending ends with a dance, the music, everyone's dancing to YMCA.
You're lying.
No, I'm lying.
Okay.
But it's just, and the gopher, he hits on a dog.
The gopher hits. I remember that, I think.
And that's the movie.
All right. Eric, I think we all know that you liked it, so I'm going to go first with my rating.
Yeah.
Originally, before we started this podcast, I was thinking I was going to rate it about a strong 7. But now I'm thinking like a strong 5.
Yeah.
Because you pointed out to me why people don't like it, besides
Like
just
what?
the fact that the movie.
No, I didn't like what?
Oh yeah, besides the fact that it's just a quote-unquote follow-up to a classic, which is going to get hate no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of opinion I've been consuming about why people don't like the movie. You know, just the fact that it's a follow-up to a classic. But since you were pointing out the actual flaws in the movie itself, yeah, that did kind of lower my opinion of the movie. What are you doing?
I dropped a crumb,
Oh, okay.
so I had to
So,
pick it up.
strong 5. What do you think?
Well, I think the only positive thing I had to say about the movie was Randy Quaid,
Mm-hmm.
and his performance sort of worsens as the movie goes on. Really, my favorite scene with him was the first one. It's not like he gets bad towards the end. It's just it's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because that original situation he was in was pretty good, but I don't know.
Sounds like you're smoking.
Shut up. That's because I am. So I'm gonna give this movie a. Are we using strong and light?
You could say perfect or whatever. Like perfect 5 or something.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a strong 1.
No fucking way.
Yes, fucking way. It deserves it.
A strong 1.
A strong 1, yes.
Maybe you're right.
I can't think of. I mean, look. If this movie could actually, like, be a movie that isn't. They should have just called it Caddyshack, like, remake.
No.
So, that's what it is. It's not like
It would have been better. I still think it would have been better received if they had just cut the connection to the original and made it its own movie. It would have been fine.
The only connection is Ty Webb,
And the Gopher.
and kind of. I mean, it could be a different Gopher.
And you can also take out the Gopher.
Yeah.
They have some other force do the chaos that the Gopher causes.
I guess. Okay.
Are we done?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, everybody. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the final episode of the Eric and Lonnie podcast.
For this season, this is the finale. Yeah.
Yeah, after this, we have lost our funding and our viewership and our fan base and our lives.
And our loved ones.
And
All right, everyone. It's been fun. We'll see you soon. Remember to hit like. Remember to share and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.